Crisis? What crisis? 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 Crisis? What crisis?
Did you or did you not want better schooling for your children?
Guilty.
Now, did you or did you not want to buy your own home?
Guilty.
Did you or did you not make a profit last year?
Guilty. We'll try not to do it again.
Right. You're sentenced to nationalization. That should put an end to it. I put it to you that you, a pensioner, expected to pay less tax on your savings just because you've spent 45 years working for them.
Guilty.
Is it not true that simply because you spent a few years training for a skilled job, you expected to earn more?
Guilty.
Is it not a fact that you failed to buy your weekend joint yet again because you claim they're too expensive?
Guilty.
But I understand that you and your family had a holiday this year.
The Labour philosophy taxes ambition,
Guilty.
enthusiasm,
Guilty.
achievement.
Guilty.
The very things that create wealth. The things that made Britain great.
We all know, in the last 5 years, the living standards of people in this country just have not grown the way they could. The Labour government's explanation for this is that Britain has been suffering because the whole world has been suffering. Well, the fact is that the world did have a bit of a cold, but it seems to be getting over the worst of it. In Britain, that cold seems to have turned into double pneumonia. Look at France. Between 1974 and 1978, the average French worker saw his wages, in terms of what they would buy, go up by 60%. In Germany, the average worker saw his real wages go up by over 92%. The average Italian worker saw his real wages go up by over 47%. Meanwhile, in Britain, the average industrial worker has seen his real wages, in terms of what they will buy, only go up by 16%. And it isn't just the French, Germans and Italians who've done better. The British worker has also done worse than, for example, workers in Denmark, Belgium, Canada. It's not that they don't care about the unemployed. They do. And it's not that they don't mean well for our health service or our old people. Of course they do. The Labour Party has always expressed the best intentions in these areas. But it's no good having good intentions if you can't afford to carry them out. You can't pay for better social services with good intentions. Caring that works costs cash. It all seems to come down to one thing: money, and the policies which create it. Labour never seem to have enough. Strange, you might think, when we're paying more tax under this present Labour government than ever before. But despite all this tax they're collecting, they still haven't got enough to pay for the proper standards of social services. And they never can get enough coming in from tax when people aren't earning enough in the first place. So the Labour government has to take more and more of what we do earn to try and pay for the schools, hospitals and social services we all want.
We've always had a sense of humour, and heaven knows we've needed it lately. But we've other characteristics too: a gift for invention, for initiative and for hard work. Under Labour, these talents are going to waste, because the government takes too much away in tax. How often do you hear people say, "Look how much they've taken from my pay packet"? So naturally they ask for bigger pay rises to make up the difference. And it's not long before that pushes up prices. Ask any housewife. She'll tell you. This government has increased prices more and faster than any other government since records were kept. The only way to keep prices down is to get production up. And you don't do that by weighing people down with taxes and other restrictions. They don't work for the chance of the exchequer. They work for their families. So we've got to cut the tax on earnings and the tax on skill. Give our people incentives. And once again, Britain will be back in the race.
Don't just hope for a better life. Vote for one.